YCN, cable television for New Hampshire.
From Bellows Bowling in Concord, New Hampshire, welcome to Yankee Championship Bowling. Championship Bowling is brought to you by Shaw's, your everyday lower price leader, and by the Creponi Transportation Center, located at the junctions of I-89 and I-93 in Concord, New Hampshire. Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 13 in this series of Yankee Championship Bowling. I'm Don LeBrun, along with Jim Rivers. And Jim, tonight's number 4 seed Bob Freel and number 14 seed Steve Vadney, and we are in what we call the semifinal round.
Semifinal round, the winner, the Bucks continue to go, and the winner moves into the championship round. And Bob Freel with some upsets along the way. Jones, Emerson, and Gary Dufford, and all went by the wayside. So he is our highest remaining seed, and Bob is from Amherst, a self-employed electrical contractor who was with us a couple of weeks ago, has defeated 11th-seeded John Waller of Exeter and 10th-seeded John Burke, and finds himself now in the semifinal round, the highest seed left. His opponent, Steve Vadney. And Steve works for the Sturm Ruger Corporation of Newport. He is from Claremont, married, and has his fan club with him here tonight. He defeated number 1 seed Rick Jones and number 9 seed Steve Birch along the way. So both bowlers have some impressive wins as they clash head-to-head here tonight for the right to move into the championship. And one of our 4 remaining bowlers will replace Danny Murphy as a champion.
I was talking with
and Steve Birch is our champion, but Danny Murphy has been the long-running champion, and Steve, of course, the defending champion.
I was talking with a fan this past week who was mentioning the names of the people who dropped, like Birch and Jones and Emerson and Duffett and Danny Murphy, all familiar names as far as bowling is concerned in this area, and they've all gone by the wayside. So we're going to have someone come atop the heap who hasn't been there before. We'd like you to be cognizant of our address again, and there it is on your screen. Of course, our Lucky Roll segment is fresh every week as we continue our way through the summertime with new programs every week. And perhaps send us a card with your name, address, and phone number, and please print. Okay, we are all set. Bob Freel and Steve Vadney, and we do that right after these words. Okay, we are set. Steve Vadney is ready to go.
Bright new red shirt. Dick Moody's Barbershop.
He said, make sure and plug that. He says, I'm getting good money for that.
That's right. It's where he gets his Grecian formula.
You might have cost him a spare now.
I know. Sturm Ruger, they manufactured gun parts up in Newport. His high single has gone from 186 to 197 since we last met.
Wow.
He beat Rick Jones of Londonderry 371 to 310, and against Stevie Birch a 402 to 395. But he led by as many as 60 pins in that third string before Steve came roaring back, and even Steve had a chance to win it in that final frame.
Pair of 9s to Steve as we start off. First mark. Fills it with a 7. Well, the first lead of the evening goes to Freel, 25-18 after 2. There it goes. Took a little time. Maybe we can see another peek at that. Here it is. And what we missed, folks, is another strike. He backed him up, a double strike. And while you were watching the replay, he did it again. That helps the cause early going. Mark that spare up. And let's take another peek at that spare. And we're back live. Five fill. Good out.
Next week, of course, we have Al Harwood out of Salem and Larry Wells out of Peterborough.
Steve Vadney working on back-to-back strikes here. After 5.
Off to a blazing start.
A nice start. And good action that time around.
Steve came into the alleys here just a few moments before we started taping and really didn't have a whole lot of time to warm up. Maybe it's just as well.
Let's see that first ball again, Jim. And you can see the action he's gotten on his pins. 2 strikes and a spare for Steve. The first string. Bob Freel has had a couple of spares. He, of course, is at lane 21, which is the Grapponi transportation lane. And sometimes we are remiss to remind you folks to frequent our sponsors because they are nice people. In fact, they have to be nice people to be sponsors of this program, right?
Well, the 85 automobiles have been out a while. Good selection down at Grapponi's.
I think if you're smart, you go to Grapponi's and buy a car and drive it over to Shaw's and buy your groceries.
Right, plenty of trunk space to put the groceries in.
And the money you save buying at Grapponi's, you
pay for cable and watch us.
That's right. You save that much buying a car, huh?
Oh, at least that much.
Oh, good. I'd like to go over and see Buffalo Dan myself. I want to see what he really looks like.
It's really Dan Siebert.
Home run. And let's take another look at that one. Here she goes. Steve working on a spare. And a good drop and a good spare leave. Another spare.
Yeah, that is 2 strikes and 2 spares. He's got 98 with a ball here in the 7th.
Here's the replay. The spare, and here's live. And he's got a good split there, but he did pick up 8 on the fill. $106 after 7. Goes with the wood, and he's got it.
Oh.
Take another look at that one, Jim.
When you're hot, you are hot. Watch this. Good pickup. He now has 116 with a ball in the 8th.
Bobby Freel filling a strike.
With a strike.
There it is. We're going replay crazy here. Here's another look at it. And home run. You didn't see the 7 drop, but it did. Good fill. Dead even after 6, Jim. And both with marks. I got a 1-pin difference. How about you?
107, 106.
Right. Freel in the lead by 1.
Oh, played the wood and picked up a 7. We'll watch that one more time.
Here we go. Here's another peek at that one. That's how Bob picked that one up. Steve Vadney working on a spare. That's a decent fill, an 8. He's got himself a 7-pin lead. And a spare again, 4 in a row. Strike. When you're hot, huh? Trying to squeeze the replay in here. A 154 and 2 balls. How about that? 163?
163 for
nice way to start.
Hey.
Bob Freel says, I'm bowling well and I'm behind.
Bob's got a pair of spares and back-to-back strikes. If he can do the same thing, spare and a strike, he could maybe draw to within 10. There's the strike.
Look at that. Holy cow. Let's see that one again. I feel like I'm watching Jim Rice battling Tony Armas here. He just rolled a 9 in the other lane. Working on this strike. Oh, didn't quite make it. He's sitting on a 145 right now, possible 146.
Well, when you bowl a 146 and you're still down by 17 pins, that's no one. That's when you want to stand up and scream. But we have got a hot one tonight. 163 to 146. after one string. Let's take a look at our address, Don, for those that would like to win some of our cash during a Lucky Roll segment.
Which is now up to $138, incidentally. And by all means, drop us a card with your name, address, and phone number. Please print, because Jim doesn't wear his glasses on screen, and it's hard for him to read. I don't
do it in crayon for Don.
I don't think either bowler wants to go to a commercial. I think they just want to bowl.
They're smoking. Look at Vadney's fingers. They're smoking down there.
We are going to have to pause, though. Don't go away. More bowling is coming up right after Lucky Roll, which follows these words.
Well, we're back, and if you missed the first string, you missed a hot one. Steve Vadney with a 163 out of Newport, and Bob Freel from Amherst, 146. So he comes out and bowls 146. He had 3 strikes in that string and still finds himself down by 17 pins. So we're looking forward to our second string. Right now, we're looking forward to our Lucky Roll segment and a chance for you at home to win some cash. Let's get down to Don LeBrun with Steve Vadney. Don?
Okay, I got to stand away from this guy because he's steaming so much. I don't want to start sweating here. Steve, reach right inside, please, and pick out a winner, and hopefully they'll be as hot as you are. Thank you. All right, Steve will be rolling for Beatrice Demers of 38 Elm Street in Newmarket, New Hampshire. And Newmarket, they watch us, what, the Rochester cable? All right. $138. Exeter cable. Okay, that's the word. And what I can see is a 7. So, Beatrice, we're going to send you at least $7 in Shaw's money. And if Steve can match up the 7, you've got $138 in Shaw's money. So looking for a 7. And you have got $138 in Shaw's money. You should invite the Vadney family over to your house for breakfast. Beatrice, congratulations. Beatrice Demers of 38 Elm Street in Newmarket, New Hampshire. Thanks for watching us on the Exeter cable system, and congratulations on being a winner of $138 in Shaw's money. You folks at home, by all means, get us a card with your name, address, and phone number. Print, please, and mail it to Lucky Roll, YCN, 8 Commercial Street in Concord, New Hampshire, and the zip code is 03301. Perhaps you'll be lucky as Beatrice has. Once again, congratulations, Beatrice. Thanks for watching us. We'll be back for our second string following these words. Okay, Bob Freel, who, although he rolled a 146, finds himself in the second spot behind Steve Vadney. Steve had a 163. Well, that was nice to give that lady $138, huh?
It sure was. Always nice to give away someone else's money.
Yeah. Shaw's money.
Let's see. There's a Shaw's in Dover, I believe, right? There's one in Concord. Portsmouth. Newmarket. They've got a Shaw, so... No?
We're just, folks, we're listening to directions.
That's right. We're just
from the
taking...
truck, and they're giving us misinformation.
That's right. Well, B, there are a lot of fine Shaw's supermarkets.
I know there's a Shaw's in Dover,
yes.
and Newmarket isn't that far from Dover.
Been to the one in Dover. Got one in Newington. Did you hear me, Don? I said there's one in Newington.
I heard that, and I understood what you said.
Very good.
Spare City for Bob Freel. We'll try a slip in this replay before Steve Vadney lets one go. There it is.
Steve would like to say everybody, hi to everybody up at Dick Moody's Barber Shop.
Baba. Good out with a 9. It's on the head pin, but didn't get a fall like you would like. Very tough spare leave, as you can see.
daughter Jennifer running around cheering him or her dad on. If you have a suggestion for our summer series, what type of bowling you'd like to see, we're open to your suggestions. Just send it along to the Yankee Cable Network on Commercial Street in Concord. We've had suggestions of junior bowling, senior citizens, the ladies. Don the Runs kids would like to see cartoons.
I see those too much on the other cable stations.
.33 for Bob Freel.
Of course, I'm sure your children watch just C-SPAN, right? MTV. What's your youngest? How old is your youngest now?
1.
1 year. 1 year old.
I did.
About time for another one.
Yeah, sure. I have a 3-year-old who gets excited, of course, when she sees an old man on TV. But one night we had a babysitter. She made the babysitter sit there and watch bowling on a Saturday night. When I came back, the babysitter, wanted to cut a little off the price because she had to sit and watch us. My 3-year-old wouldn't let her turn it. Well, the boys have cooled off somewhat.
Good clear. The director said that was a nice shot, so he'd like to see it again. There it is.
Director's never gotten a 10 in bowling.
Home run city. Excellent.
There's your scoreboard. Vadney, of course, has to fill that strike. Bob Freel still looking for his first mark here in the second string. The winner goes to the championship and will replace Steve Birch as our champion and will return as the top seed. The winner of that championship will return as the top seed in our next series, which begins taping on January 6th.
Mark Spear down there. Two in a row. And again.
Spare number 4 on the evening for Bob Freel to go with his 3 strikes.
Steve filling a strike.
Nicely.
Very nicely.
Seemed to tail off a little bit at the last moment. Fills it with a 2. But Steve draws back to within 1 pin of Bob here in the second, so he's maintaining his lead.
We're going to look at that first spare again that Steve had. Freel filling a spare with a 3. This is a bit unusual, Jim. This is 3 weeks in a row you've been on the program without taking a sick day or a vacation day.
About time, Don.
You're going to be here next week.
I don't know. I'll have to check.
Actually, I was in class the other day talking to the kids about how much I make doing this, and they called it coolie wage. Pair of 9s.
93, as you see on our scoreboard for Bob Freel. Concord could use a coolie system. Don, do you ever think of starting one?
That's right.
With the nice chance to pick up some extra scratch.
There's the railroad playing on coming through again. Here's the replay. Steve's spare. And Steve live. A little split. Makes the safe fruit.
Managed to pick up a couple of wins, now leading by 19 overall. 95, 93 through 8.
You know, just about any other sport, when you're leading by 19, you're relaxed, except bowling.
Bob Freel breaks the 100 mark.
Closes with a spare. There it is again, and let's see how he fills it. Sitting at a decade plus 11. And add 6 to it.
.117 Bob Freel to go with his 146 and a 263. Vadney now with 2 boxes to go. As we begin a new jackpot too, Don, in our next lucky roll.
Well, you'll build it up for me, won't you?
I'll try.
10 kicked over, so he's got a spare leave anyway. Let's take another look at that first ball.
He is going to maintain his lead here.
And perhaps build on it.
Try 115 with the ball. He will build on it a little bit. As he chops it through. Goes it with a 7. 122 to go with his 163, 285. So he managed to pick up 5 pins, and he will go in to our third string, leading down by 22.
How did that measure up as far as their averages are concerned, a 117 and 122?
Well, Bob's average is a 123, and Steve's been averaging 127 of late.
So slightly below the average, but still a pretty good string of bowling, but not good in comparison to the first string. But maybe we'll measure out as that third string comes along, as Steve Vadney with a little bit of a lead over Bob Freel. Okay, we want you to watch real close as you hear these nice words from some very nice people, Grapponi and Shaws. Okay, once again, we'd like to congratulate Beatrice Demers of 38 Elm Street in Newmarket, who is the winner of $138 in our Lucky Roll, Shaw's Lucky Roll jackpot in between the first and second and third strings. If you're just joining us, Steve Vadney has a 285, Bob Freel has a 263, and we are in the semi-final round of our Yankee Championship bowling of this particular series. And we're all set for our second Lucky Roll segment. And down there negotiating a deal on getting his house rewired, here is Jim Rivers.
That's right. If you want your house rewired and you're living down in the Amherst, Hudson area, this is the man to call, Bob Freel, right? Right. You busy right now? Very busy. Well, listen, they can sign you up. Right. All right, Bob, kind of tough to throw a 146 and be down by 17. Don threw a 146 the other night, 4 strings. Why don't you, how's that? I'll just do a little pirouette here. You like that, Carl? Why don't you step on over to lane 21. Roxanne Riley, Main Street in Chichester. We have $25. Roxanne, thanks to Don LeBrun, who gave away all the jackpot on our last Lucky Roll segment. We have a good one going here with a 122 to 117 in the last string. We have a 6 spot. So we have a minimum of $6 for Roxanne Riley, Main Street in Chichester. Just give it a good spin. Give us a 6. Of course, we have a minimum of $6 just for Roxanne Riley taking the time to send this card in. Another 7. That's 2 7s tonight. All right, we're going to add $7 to the jackpot. We'll come back with $32. And we have our third string with Vadney leading Freel by 22. Stick with us and we'll be right back.
We are all set. And Steve Vadney with a 22-pin lead. Starts things off for us.
Steve has been bowling well this entire series. We had a 371 to beat Rick Jones and a 402 to beat Stevie Burt. So he's probably carrying the best average in the series.
Well, we were talking in between strings, and Steve was telling me that he has broken his high. He broke his high single twice within a week or so. It's been hot.
I believe he's also the only guy to have a 400 triple in this series, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course, next week, our second semifinal matchup will feature Al Harwood, the number 12 seed, and Larry Wells, who is the number 9 seed. And then the week after is the championship.
And the week after that,
we start all over. Looks like all your children coming in, Jim.
It's your fan club, Don. How many children do you have now?
2. The Karate Kid in the home wrecker. Actually, I shouldn't kid about good kids. I got good kids.
Something had to turn out right in your family.
I know it. They come from my wife's side.
Your mother-in-law.
Yes. You mean Maverick? Well, Vadney's increased his lead by 10 pins. They'll like that 7 to drop. I don't think we're going to count that one. We'll count that one.
Yeah, we'll count it.
And our director says, take another peek at that one. Since he lives in Salisbury, New Hampshire, and doesn't get a chance to see too much excitement, he likes those replays.
He's down to the local cab stand on Saturday nights and makes faces at the cigarette machine. That's his excitement. Salisbury has so few people that they had to shoot somebody to start a cemetery up there.
Yeah. I understand Greg discovered they did have a fire department the other day.
Really? Phone book only has one yellow page. Salisbury's a nice town. Boy, Bob's got a long way to come back.
Well, 9 spots not going to help at this point. Vadney working on a strike. Phil's a strike with a 9. Now leads by 42 pins.
Well, he had a 60-plus pin lead on Stevie Birch in the third straight in his second match, and ended up winning by 7.
And we're going to have to wait for the Steve Birch Express here.
Steve making his third appearance in our series this season. His second on the floor on his hands and knees.
Maybe. We're going to have to... That pin is inching its way.
He may end up taking this out.
If this drops...
We could have taken a commercial break in between them.
Oh, he needed the wood. $75 for Steve after 6, and he's on his way to a 400 game. ball is tailing a bit for Bob Freel right now.
Down by 43 pins. As he steps up for his 6th frame.
Way off the head pin.
The way these two guys started out, I thought we might have a double 400 match here.
Three tens in a row. That could ice it. He's going to be over 400. Freel struggling at this point. Eight down, 2 to go. Clears him out nicely. Well, that's the kind of string it's been for Bob. Should be a rocking chair finish for Steve Vadney as he heads his way into the finals.
Yeah, Bob just really cooled off. Came in and has not thrown a mark here in the 3rd string. Needed to pick up 22 pins.
Back door.
Well, he needs 6 to break 400.
He's got the 400.
400 triple for the 2nd time in our series. He had a 402 against Stevie Birch.
Well below his average, but certainly a good evening of bowling.
403.
403. And certainly good enough to get him into the finals. Bob is having a horrible string. 77 with 1 box to go.
To go from a 146 in the first string to an 87 in the third string. He's kind of hit both ends of the spectrum here tonight.
Certainly has.
Finishes with a 350, loses by 53 bins. So we have our first finalist done. Steve Vadney goes to the finals against the winner of next week's matchup.
Actually, 350 isn't bad triple, but in light of the fact that he started off so strong, it's you know, it didn't turn out as well as he wanted. However, Steve Vadney has worked his way into that finals, and next week we'll be having Larry Wells and Al Hardwood, and Steve will be watching that because the winner meets him for the championship. We'll talk with both our bowlers, and we will do that right after we pause for these words.
All right, there's the prize money. Those of you at home wondering how our bowlers fare here on Yankee Championship Bowling, and that's what the champion is going to get right there. And of course, even if you make it into our tournament and lose in the first round, you take home a little pocket change. But quarterfinals, 75, all the way up to the big check. And Steve Vadney has assured himself with a chance at that big check. He had a 371 to beat Rick Jones, a 402 to beat Stevie Birch, now a 403 to beat Bob Freel. He's averaging somewhere around 390 in our series, so he's going to be tough to beat. With our bowlers down on the floor, here's Don LeBrun.
Thank you, Jim Rivers. Bob, was it a little disheartening to you the first go-round when you rolled so well and yet you were 20 pins down?
No, not really, because I was bowling good. I felt good. Last string, well, we won't talk about that.
Well, let's talk about it for 1 second. When did you feel that things sort of slipped away on you?
After 4 boxes, I knew I was in trouble.
Well, you're not in that much trouble because you got a good piece of change coming from you. We appreciate you being on, and we look forward to seeing you on again.
Guaranteed.
Thanks. Steve, guaranteed. You are in the finals now, and you had choice between Larry Wells and Al Harwood.
Neither. No preference.
No preference?
I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, how about describing those two bowlers for us real quick?
I think they're both capable of throwing big strings. Al's an explosive bowler. And should be a good match no matter who comes up.
Well, Larry certainly has been bowling well as of late.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the other match. I understand he is throwing pretty decent.
Well, you haven't been throwing that badly yourself. That was a great first string, and of course you had another triple of over 400.
Yeah, not too bad. I'll take it.
You bet your life you will. Congratulations to you, Steve, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks in the championship.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's turn things up to the man with all the info, Mr. Jim Rivers.
All righty, Don. Al Harwood will be with us next week, of course, earned his way in by beating Gary Duffett and Eddie Emerson, so he has some impressive wins under his belt as well. And we're getting down to nitty-gritty time. Don't forget our address for Yankee Championship Bowling and our Lucky Roll segment. It's right there, Yankee Championship Bowling, 8 Commercial Street in Concord, New Hampshire, 03301. Semi-final round and then the championship coming up in the next 2 weeks here on the Yankee Cable Network. For Don LeBrun, Jim Rivers, good night. See you next week.